Yeah, I'm sorry for the silent treatment. Um, it's not my intention to create an even more awkward situation. But again, it's fitting for my personality that I would make others uncomfortable as well. What's going down, everyone? I don't know if I have any announcements, so we can jump right into our guest of honor, who I'm excited to talk to. This is my first time actually really speaking to L.Dre at any length beyond just DMs here and there. So I appreciate you coming in. How is 2022 treating you so far?
Man, just now really getting back into the swing of things. Took a little break over the holiday season a little bit, so it's been pretty good so far.
What's your philosophy on breaks? I know you're super busy, and I know a lot of us really talk about and reaffirm the whole no sleep, work all the time kind of mentality. Do you are you consciously taking breaks to stay, I guess, balanced, or how do you work that into your schedule to stay um, energized?
I mean, honestly, like what it took to get to where I'm at, I didn't get a lot of sleep, but that was back when, I had a full-time job, so I'm waking up at, I got to be at work at 9, then I got to get off at work at till 6 and then eat dinner or something, and then I'm working all night. Who knows what time I go to sleep? I might get a few hours of sleep after, doing whatever, making beats, video editing, and then, wake up, I don't know, 3 hours later and go back to work. So, throughout that time, that was like 2 years straight of just straight hustling and just struggling like that. And so, yeah, now that I'm like, full time, got my own place and everything, I try to like take it easy. I try to set like boundaries for myself to just stop working like purposely.
And I want to really get into the origins of L.Dre. So let's start there. What kinds of beats were you making when you first started versus what you're doing now?
Yeah, when I first started, it was mostly just hip hop beats. I started when like trap was the main genre, pretty much the only genre any producer wanted to make. So pretty much I was making trap beats for a while. But I always was into R&B, so like I would switch it up. But on Instagram, like that was my main hustle. So at the time, it was really like trap over everything. But I would sneak in some R&B beats, some boom bap beats here and there before I got to the style I have today.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what led to your current sound. What was it that influenced you to make that choice, especially since it sounds like you were back and forth between genres.
Well, I guess first things first, I'm just like, it's just a reflection of my personality, I guess. Like, I'm just a chill dude. I prefer things chill. Um, but in all honesty, it's like I was selling beats for a while and I was doing okay. And then I got into the whole streaming world and I saw that like all these people were just, I myself was listening to instrumentals to like clean or something like that or like read, but I never really thought about doing it myself, and I never really looked into it. I never looked at the artist. I was just listening to like Pandora or just random playlists. And I never actually connected that there's artists behind these beats. So once I started doing research and seeing how successful these people were by just uploading instrumentals, and it was mostly the chill stuff that was going crazy. Like people were just making lo-fi beats. They'll have like 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify, but like you go to their Instagram, they'll have like 500 followers. I'm like, damn, all right, let's see how I can get in on that. And that's what really inspired me getting into the whole lo-fi space.
Yeah, I find it funny anytime anyone's mad at me online for whatever reason. Oh, what's up, Ed Talenti? We
My
have
guy, what's good, Ed?
celebrities in the chat. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Yeah, whenever someone is pissed off at me on social media because I won't listen to their random music link or something, it's always, oh, you don't have that many followers, which is funny because I always have like infinitely more than them. But followers don't equate to sales or necessarily even fans. And I've said that before, and a lot of people can't wrap their heads around a follower not being equivalent to a fan or a supporter.
Hmm.
Was that something that you learned through experience, or that's what that situation taught you?
Sort of, but it wasn't so much just about the followers too, because I was on Instagram like hustling for a while and I built up to like before I like blew up on streaming platforms, I had already built up a following of at least like 50,000 on Instagram. And then when TikTok came around and I started doing the lo-fi remixes on all that stuff popped off, it kind of grew much faster. But even without that, I was still just social media has always been like my thing. I've always tried my best to spread myself out on all social medias. So, but that being said, Instagram being my main social media platform, I always recognized that nobody was swiping up on links and stuff. Like you couldn't really convert anything on Instagram. Nobody wanted to leave the app. So when I did start releasing instrumentals on Spotify and I saw people were doing it without Instagram, I was like, "Oh, okay, so these people they don't even need Instagram because they get support from the playlist or whatever they're doing to build on this platform."
I think that's key what you said, that people don't want to leave the app. So the swipe up links were kind of ineffective. Um, I want to add too that Instagram doesn't want you to leave the app. No platform wants you
Mhm.
to leave. And so external links almost always lead to fewer, um, I guess, lower engagement, lower reach.
Mhm.
So is there a way to work around that in your experience, or are you just basically trying to find the people where they are as best as you can on any particular platform?
My first experience with that was it was honestly TikTok. Like TikTok, when I had my first song go viral on TikTok, everybody like hundreds of comments saying drop it on SoundCloud, drop it on SoundCloud. Like they're dying to get this off the app. So it was like a whole new mindset for them. They see a little snippet of something on that app and they're begging you to release it. And then when you do release it, the numbers reflect it. So the video have got like 1 million views like in the first 2 days, and I put the song out, and like literally the next day on SoundCloud, it had like 10,000 plays already. So that's when I realized, okay, this app, they're they're gonna follow you anywhere. So that's kind of really TikTok changed my whole perspective on it.
See, and I've noticed that I don't know if we're seeing more viral moments for musicians lately, but I've noticed that a lot of musicians lament the fact that social media is becoming, I guess, more driven towards short attention spans because the content is shorter. We have Reels, we have TikTok. Everything is basically 30 seconds, or well, in with an Instagram story, it's 15. With TikTok, it's a minute unless you have the extended whatever, and then people can't do it. So, for the sake of argument, we'll say a minute. Reels is a minute. YouTube Shorts. We're having all of this super short form content, but it seems as though that may convert better.
Yeah, I agree with that to a certain extent because at the end of the day, I still feel like YouTube is king. Like no matter what platform anybody blows up on, they're still gonna make a YouTube channel. Whoever, whether it's like Charlie D'Amelio, the most TikTok followers in the world, everybody's headed to YouTube, and I feel like YouTube is where you actually curate the community and keep people with you. So I do think long form content is still king, but like short form just for quick interactions, getting people to know who you are, getting people to just, exposure and stuff like that.
And long form to you, because your videos tend not to drag on and on. You pretty much get to the point, but they tend to be around the 10-12 minute mark. Is that intentional?
Yeah, that's long form for me, but it's not really. I'm not the YouTube guy. I'm not like the SEO. I'm not a Simon Servita. I don't really try to focus on all that. I kind of just make the videos. But to me, like if the video is too long, I just start cutting shit out of it. Like I just start cutting things just to make it quicker. But it's not really a strategy thing. Like I'll make a longer video if it actually needs to be.
Okay, got it. Back to the music a little bit. What is your musical background? I know you play a few instruments, but do you have a formal musical background?
Not really formal, but I was never into like sports or anything like that. I was just into music my whole life. So like my mom would always put me in like I was in a guitar class or in the school I was going to, they had music class. I was on the drum line for a bit and all these different instruments, but I never really stuck with any of them. But you pick up on things. So I guess like rhythm in general just stuck with me forever. So when I did start taking music seriously as like a career path and a goal, it was kind of like second nature. But I wanted to be a rapper for majority of my life. So it all started with hip hop. 50 Cent was like the first rapper. Like I just fell in love with his music, and that really inspired me to start rapping. And then one thing led to another, and I just started producing, and I like producing more.
Were you rapping like 50 Cent, or he just inspired you? I just want to hear like "Get Rich or Die Trying" L.Dre.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like it was 50 Cent. I was like a. It was like Eminem was my favorite rapper of all time, and I'll still put him on that pedestal, always. But I was rapping like them for sure. Like I wanted to rap. I was rapping fast, saying ridiculous, cancelable stuff. Like it was ridiculous. I don't know how my mom even let any of that slide. It was a wild time. But yeah, those were definitely my big inspirations at the time for sure.
I would get cussed out by my mother, I think, on a weekly basis when I was there, when I was living with her in like, high school, early college when we would record our songs. She's like, "Why would you
Yeah.
say that? What word
Yeah.
did you use? Say it to me." I'm like, "Oh man,
It's dangerous, dangerous
it
times.
is, it is." Um, Here's a dangerous question for dangerous times. Um, what in your words, because you're the lo-fi guy. What in your words is lo-fi?
That's like a really loaded question. Honestly, there's been a
That's
lot of
why I asked
debate.
it.
Yeah, not a lot. I don't want to say a lot of debate, like everybody's going crazy over it. But to me personally, I lump lo-fi in as just chill beats. Like whatever beat is chill, I would consider it lo-fi as long as it's not going crazy. But I personally, this is my personal opinion. I feel like lo-fi is just the term. It's like the gentrification term. It's like those gentrified apartments everywhere. That's what I see it. It's just a keyword to kind of categorize this type of sound. But to me, jazz hop, chill hop, even boom bap, like a lot of boom bap is I would consider lo-fi. But not like, the rappity rap boom bap. But if it's like, cooking soul, chill, soulful samples chop, like that to me is lo-fi as well.
Maybe that question was way too loaded. Because yeah, I'm glad you brought up the G word, and that's a conversation for another format.
Yeah, that's
I
yeah.
would love to talk because I do hear a lot of people saying that, and then you throw in the history of boom bap and like the pioneers of what they're considering lo-fi now,
hmm
like the Dillas and the Mad Libs and the
Yeah.
Pete Rocks, and yeah, it gets weird. Switching gears, most of us beat makers, myself included, we focus on working with recording artists as our revenue model. So we're either chasing placements or we're leasing beats online, or we're doing both. You're
hmm
focused on being a solo artist. You are the music, period. And for the last, I think it was 3 years, based on my thorough research, you haven't focused on selling beats at all. But what made you switch from selling beats to artist to being the artist yourself?
Honestly, the whole artist thing, like, it just I don't want to say it wasn't me because at the time I would do anything, like I would do anything to make it. So I was on BeatStars, selling beats, putting up the YouTube type beats, all that kind of stuff. But I had some success, but it's just like for me, it just wasn't my passion, I guess. Like just putting the beats out and then whatever happens, happens. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it was like, hopefully, nobody gets offended by this, but like some of the people rapping on my beats were just like buns, it was just trash. Like it was pretty rare that I would get a beat sent back to me. I mean, a song sent back to me on my beats that I was like, oh, this is hard. So I just kind of felt like, what's the point of this? Like, if I'm gonna work with artists, it'll be like artists that I actually want to or that I like. So once I got into the lo-fi, hip hop, streaming instrumentals world, that was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And then if I want to work with artists down the line, I can. But I just haven't wanted to because I'm just doing my own thing.
Okay, yeah, that was gonna be my next question. So you haven't worked with artists. Do you get approached a lot to work with artists? And then how do you go about turning them down, I guess, since you're turning everyone down?
It just depends, honestly. It just depends. Like, I have a manager, so every now and then, like I get approached by labels to do like remixes or stuff, and then maybe I get in touch with the artist, and if I want to work with them, I will. But it's never been something like I get DMs, I might just not look at them or something, I might not open it or stuff like that. But I do have a list of people that I would like to work with at some point that maybe have reached out to me and I have talked to them a bit, but it just hasn't happened yet.
That's what happened with Adele. She DM'd you, and you're like, "Nah, I'm good on this remix."
Hey, Adele, DMs are open. All right, they're open for you.
Well, we're okay. More on that later. How long did it? Because you said you were doing a whole bunch of stuff to try to make it. I mean, I think we were all kind of in that position. Um, how long did it take you from when you started to really pursue music as a career to when it actually became a career?
Um, that it's kind of a tough question too because like I said, I was rapping, right? So I did some shows, as a rapper, like performing. And obviously, I was on SoundClick, just downloading beats, literally rapping over beats with the tags on them and everything. I was one of those dudes just stealing beats off the internet. So that whole part of my life, that was like all before high school. But to me, like in school, I didn't worry about like SATs or, I mean, I got my grades up for my mom's sake, but I just always knew I was going to be the greatest rapper of all time. That was my main focus. So I would like to just erase that history. When I started producing, and I took producing serious, I would say like 2018 or 2017, I went to LA recording school. And in the beginning of that, because they have two different programs, they have the recording side and the music production side. I was going for the recording side because I wanted to be a rapper still at the time. And somebody in the office, they said, do you want to be like more behind the scenes doing this and that and creative? Or do you want to be more on the technical side? Because in recording, you got to learn about inputs and chords and all this kind of crazy stuff. And I was like, I'd rather do the creative stuff behind the scenes. So I got into the Music Production Academy. And that really was the decision that changed my life. So from that point on, I was just in college. So I'll say 2018 is when I started getting on Instagram, selling beats, putting my beats out there, and just actually putting stuff out. So I would say from 2018 to now, that's what it's been.
So I'm trying to create a timeline in my head. When were you just 100% music? All your income was from music, and you were living off that, and
Oh,
you
you're
were
saying
good.
full time, like just,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So I quit my job. Damn it. I'm not very good with dates. When the pandemic started, I quit my job right before the pandemic hit, which is, I
Mm,
always think back to being a really like just a blessing.
yeah.
So I think, what is that, 2020? Yeah, 2020, February 2020 is when I quit my job.
Oh, like literally the month before the
L-
CDC announcements, you quit. Wow.
Literally the month. So that was like, I lucked out big time.
And then and that was a decision based on like your financial trajectory up to that point where you thought to yourself, because a lot of people want to quit their jobs and go all in and they're scared. Was it a
Hmm.
more informed decision on your part where you looked at your finances, you looked at what you were already making, and you thought to yourself, if I just put in a little more work, this is going to be my projected income from this point on?
Yeah, so I had a plan basically. I've always been kind of like smart with money. I'm always on YouTube learning about finances and investing and all that. So I knew that I had two options that I gave myself. I need to either make double what I make at my job consistently for like a few months, or I need to make 6 months of my like life expenses, and then I would have quit. But here's the thing, at the job I had, I was working at like a clothing store, like in the warehouse, and I was doing like social media marketing for them and like Shopify, just like e-commerce stuff. And it was like super chill. So like a lot of the time there, I was kind of just working on my own stuff. So I kind of had the ability to still work while I was at work. Technically, I'm still in company time, but that's what kind of kept me at the job because I went viral like 3 times in a row towards the end of 2019, and I started getting a bunch of opportunities. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen like on Twitter, I did like this married life Disney flip, and it went like stupid viral on Twitter. It had like 3 million views, and after that, like Honda hit me up to do some stuff. Samsung hit me up and like flew me out to Vegas to do like they flew me to CES to do some stuff, and things like started happening. People were trying to fly me out and companies were reaching out to me. So I couldn't even think about the double income or the 6 months from now. I was like, yo, my boss is like, I kept having to take time off. He's like, what's going on? I was like, yeah, it's probably time like for me to just get out of here. Like my
So that
time would be better
decision was
spent.
made for you, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm triggered by this. Stop it, Miles. Um, what makes your business sustainable? I imagine your revenue model is made up of multiple income streams like royalties, brand partnerships, YouTube ad revenue, sync licensing, sound kits. What would you say is your bread and butter? Like if we had a L.Dre revenue pyramid, what would be at the bottom of that?
So I mean, that's always been a main focus of mine. I never wanted to rely on the streaming revenue. So I always made sure that I kept up with all the different legs. So I would say definitely streaming is the biggest one. And then there's like you said, brand partnerships. And then I sell sample packs as well. So I'm definitely going to focus on that more this year. But last year it started to really pick up. What else? I mean, I do like with my manager, we're always doing like, remixes for this and that, where it's kind of just like a work for hire situation. So I don't even know what category to put that because technically it's not royalties, but stuff
Right.
like that
Yeah.
are like for like commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I guess I would put that under the sync category. Maybe I don't know.
yeah, for the most part, it's usually work for hire stuff though. That's the thing. So I wouldn't say
Okay.
like publishing or anything.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. It would have to. I guess it's a sync because a sync is technically just any music created for video, right?
Yeah. So
So
far I've done it's mostly been stuff for like TikTok ads and like short form ads, just music for that and stuff like that.
yeah, that's a sync. Anyway, let's talk numbers because you alluded to some of them, and then I also want to let people know this is interactive, so I know people are active in the chat, but you can ask questions. That's
Yes, sir. I
encouraged.
see I see some of my people. Shout out to my guy fanboy in the chat. I see you, bro.
You're at, and these are nuts. I saw you. I don't even know what were you using to consolidate all of your streaming numbers from all different platforms?
Oh, that was like my guy Harris Cole put me on that. It's called Muse.io. It's like an app.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
saw like Mike Dean's using it. A bunch of people are using it, so I tried it out and it's crazy.
So you posted that you're at a total of 112 million streams, 4.3 billion TikTok views, 42 million playlist reach. This is all just for beats,
Yeah.
just beats.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Crazy, crazy. And in your videos, you basically said that your streaming numbers were a direct result of going viral on TikTok for the most part. I know you did the math and subtracted, from your most viral videos and so forth, and you still were at tens of millions. But what worked for you on TikTok in terms of strategy, or was there a strategy?
See, the whole thing with TikTok is one, I just want a quick disclaimer. Um, I personally believe that I got in TikTok at a very good time. It was like really early. So a lot of people, I mean, there's still like not to crush anybody's hope. It's definitely still possible. People are going viral every other day. But at the time, the only person that was doing like music and remixes was Illusion. And he was already the homie. So once I saw it, like I just saw him, you know, one day I just saw a YouTube video of his that had so many views and his subscriber count jumped like from like a very small, like below the 10,000 number to like 100,000 in like, I don't know, maybe a few days. I don't know how, but it was crazy. So
Sorry,
that
who
was
was this?
Illusion.
How do you spell his name?
It's it's Illusion, but without the I.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So he was like the pioneer of like TikTok producers, really. So I talked to him and he basically told me like what went on. And then at that point, I was like, I was already making remixes. So one of the remixes that went viral was my Frank Ocean remix. I did that like several months before I even knew what TikTok was. So I just got on the platform. I started posting. His format was kind of just like, hey, remember this song? This is what I did to it type of thing. So I did that, and that was the Frank Ocean one that really popped off, and it went crazy. And obviously, it's a remix, so it has like 10 million views on YouTube, but I don't get a dime from that because it's copyrighted. So that's when I was like, all right, when I do these remixes, I just need to release the instrumentals on Spotify.
Okay. Now you're making me skip questions because I had a question about the remixes. We already kind of joked about the Adele thing.
Hmm.
Because you've done many viral remixes. I want to talk specifically about the Adele remix. Obviously, you can't play with Adele's copyright.
Mm-hmm.
How did the Go Easy on Me remix come together? What inspired you to make that, and then what can you do with that just so that the labels aren't on your backs?
So yeah, that Adele remix I just recently did. I just honestly like I didn't even put much thought into that. I was just I needed to make a YouTube video. I literally asked Siri in the video. I said, "What's the number one song in the world right now?" And that was the song. So I just got the acapella, made it, and I haven't done anything with it. So realistically, let's say it were to go viral, I would just release the instrumental, call it a day. That's pretty much all I would do because on YouTube, I'll get followers from it, but I won't get any income or, I'm not trying to steal anybody's copyright or anything like that. So it's pretty much all you can do is release the instrumental as long as it's no samples from the vocals.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because all that money goes to Adele anyway. I mean, I
Yep.
think it's cool that now remember like 10 years ago, if you had done that on YouTube, it would have resulted in a strike.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
nowadays, it seems like the labels have smartened up and been like, okay, we're just gonna let everything slide, but we're
Hmm.
collecting all the money. So if
Yeah.
something does blow up, we're gonna benefit from it, and they still get their attention and blah blah blah.
Which is a blessing, which is a blessing.
Yeah, because so sure, you're not making a cent off of these viral remixes. Is there a benefit from them going viral, and are you converting some of that viral success to something beneficial to yourself?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So I always bring it back to the Frank Ocean remix was the one that really changed my life to a certain extent because then I started doing the lo-fi like TV stuff. That's a whole nother thing. But the Frank Ocean one, basically when that happened, and I told you already, like people were begging me for the remix. So I put it out on SoundCloud and all that. And then immediately I was like, you know what? I saw that immediately all the numbers on my other platforms were jumping up because people just wanted to listen to that. So that's when I got the idea. All right, let me just do a whole EP. So I made an EP of like chill, funky, like dancey kind of instrumentals. And then I promoted that on TikTok. And that also went kind of viral. It had like 1,000,000 views because everything was hot right now. There was a dance trend going on to it. So immediately before that song, I had maybe like 20,000 monthly listeners. But after that, like I immediately jumped to like 100,000. My followers jumped, my streams jumped. The EP had like 30, 40,000 streams like in the same weekend that it dropped. So, and that was like numbers I had never seen before. So it all immediately transferred.
Yeah, I guess it's like the Danger Mouse factor. Because remember, don't know how young you were then. I was in college when that came out, the Gray album,
Hmm.
and I don't think he made a cent off of that either. But he parlayed that into the project with CeeLo and whatever. And I'm sure he's a multimillionaire now because of it. So
Hmm.
it seems to me like your philosophy: let's just get this music done and let's make people happy, and the rest will just fall into place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a bunch of different like strategies you can do. Like, for instance, when I put the remix out on YouTube, I had like a link for people to be able to download it. And in order to download it, they had to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So it was like a little download gate. So there's a bunch of different things you can do to kind of force things to translate. But, for the most part, it's just the publicity, exposure.
Do you recommend the download gate, and which one did you use when you were doing it?
The one I was using was Hyped It, I think. But I think it's the rules have changed by now. I think like they don't force you to subscribe to YouTube channels anymore. So depending on what you want, I think it still works for like Spotify follows or Spotify pre-saves or something like that. It might still work, but yeah, I would recommend that for sure.
Okay. We have a couple questions. Bufo wants to know if you think hashtags have any effect on viral success, or if that's not something even that's a part of your strategy.
I wouldn't say it's a part of my strategy. I just use them, but I haven't analyzed the differences because sometimes I don't use them and a video will do well. Or you might see on your like TikTok feed that nobody, a video with 50 million views with no hashtags. You might, it really varies.
So there are L.Dre rants.
Oh, nice. Shout out to my guy Equal. What's good, bro?
What's a recent L.Dre rant?
Wait. Oh, wait. L.Dre, don't go on rants. I don't know. Like, I'm into this stuff, like marketing and all this kind of stuff. So like when I'm on my stream and people start asking me questions, like I can go on all day about this stuff. So
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a rant.
yeah.
I need something specific. A rant is like,
Yeah, I'm not a Kanye over
don't
here though.
use splice or whatever. That's a
Yeah,
rant.
no, nah, yeah.
That's a great rant. I mean, not
Yeah.
great in the sense that it's correct, but it's a real ass rant. Um, People are complimenting you on your studio, and they're also questioning the temperature in the studio because apparently you're all. I mean, you are dressed. I'm in Wisconsin right now. It's cold as hell out here. I just shoveled this morning. My daily routine is like drink my tea, shovel, and exercise.
Sheesh.
But you're in a warm climate.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got the air turned up, and so it feels like you're right here with me in Wisconsin.
Pretty much. I just wanted to get the vibe of the interview correct. You know what I'm saying? I already knew you were shoveling snow this morning, so
Yeah, and I appreciate that attention to detail. Thank you. See, this is a model guest,
yes,
and this is
sir.
why he's professional and winning.
Yes, sir.
With the Adele remix, it seemed as though you had a partnership with Mixed in Key. Am I not reading that correctly?
Yeah, yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so you did monetize that in a way.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. True. Sort
Okay.
of. Well, I kind of have like a contract with them, so technically that video wasn't
Hmm.
specifically, but yeah, yeah, that is true.
They said snow buddies. Okay. Um, okay. Correction, not a rant, a tangent. That's a fundamentally different concept altogether. Uh, oh wait, you did a Doja Cat remix?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I don't. Yeah, I did. They reached out, but it was that song. I don't know if you heard the song. It's called Dick. I
Okay.
don't. It's called Dick, but it's by Starboy.
Don't
I
say
feel.
that word because somebody I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Somehow we get dicks in the chat every now and then.
okay. So
So,
cut it off. Yeah,
well,
but that.
you can say it. I'm just warning you there may be some dicks in the chat. I don't know what an omen is. I never know what leads up to there being dicks in the chat. It just happens like we're due. We're due for a dick in the chat. I'll say that.
All right, I'm gonna keep it
So
to
if
the
it
minute. But if you were to play the song, it's a lot of those in the song. So, but it's by Starboy. I feel very disrespectful because I never can say his name right. But Doja Cat is on the song, so technically, it is an official Doja Cat and Starboy remix that I did.
Miles has puns today.
There we go.
Um, there's not always one in every chat, but there are. Just people feel like we need to see dicks in the chat. Sometimes I don't know why. Um, and you're saying Doja Cat's people reach out to you?
It was I forgot. Was it RCA or the label? But it's Starboy song though. But Doja Cat is
Right.
featured on it, so
Okay.
it's a remix of a remix. I think I don't even know. I think she hopped on it after it went viral on TikTok or something like that.
I see what you okay. And
But if you go to Doja Cat's Spotify, you'll find L.Dre on there. You just got to do a little digging. So
okay. So that did end up becoming a little more official then.
yeah, no, it's 100% official. But technically, it's his song, so it's not really. It wasn't like Doja Cat reached out,
Okay,
but
what came first then? It was Starboy's people reaching out to you or you dropping the remix of them saying, "Oh, this is cool. Let's make it official."
no, yeah, they reached out and like paid me to do it.
Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, how does that work? I did like a New Boys remix that way back, but I know that I don't think I got paid any royalties for it. This is that
Yeah,
I'm not
nah.
advising anyone to do that, but I know that there are producers like Mike D or whoever who are just always doing remixes to hits, and I that's a foreign language to me because I don't know how the business breaks down for something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, for me, I know that there's been a few different instances where like an artist actually I would drop a remix and then an artist would reach out like Fanboy just mentioned in the chat. Me and Zeus, we did a Lil Nas X flip, and then they reached out and asked us if they can post it on their YouTube like as an official like remix. But we just said yeah. Like I don't know, we didn't question it. It was just on YouTube for free. We asked them if we could release it officially, but they said we'll see, and then they disappeared. So, but
Yeah, that's definitely one of my questions. Uh, Do you know the inner workings of that situation? Because I did see Lil Nas X himself reposting it.
Mhm. Yeah, so
You
he
never
shared
spoke
it.
to him directly.
No, not directly, just to his, I don't know if it was his manager or just somebody on his label, but they just reached out. I connected them with my manager and they just talked it out.
How do you think he ended up getting a hold of it? Because my guess is probably, well, I think the most likely scenario is that I feel like Lil Nas X is really involved in social media.
Mhm.
He's very active. So he heard it or saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is cool. Can I put this on my YouTube? And he had to consult with the label. And then that's why they reached. It was like top down.
Mhm.
Is is or
I
do you
feel
think
like
there's some other one?
I feel like it could have been either or. Like it seems like whatever team is around him, like they seem like super smart when it comes to just how they market. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of their people just were on TikTok and seen the remix and was like, "Yo, we should do something with this," or if he just saw it and was like, "Yo, we should do something." It could go either way to me.
What's crazy? This has nothing to do with you, but what's crazy? Tell me if this is. I don't know how you felt about Old Town Road when it came out, but it felt like the consensus for the most part was that he's going to be a one hit wonder.
For
And
sure.
then I heard he was, because he's active on social media. I don't even know if it was him. I think it might have been Take a Day Trip. His main producers, they posted a snippet of, it must have been Panini, I guess. And I was like, wait a minute, no, that this is nah, he's not a one hit wonder.
Yeah,
And
Panini. Same for me. Once I heard Panini, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that's hard."
yeah, and now you're on his TikTok. That's just cool. Let's talk about viral success in general, because a lot of people look at viral success as overnight success, and a lot of people look at overnight success as literally overnight success.
Mhm.
That hasn't been your experience, though, right?
No, not at all. Yeah, I was definitely I was definitely grinding for a while. Like just because I'm not good with dates, I always say 2018 just because there was a specific moment in my life that I remember when I had the switch to from being lazy and just kind of taking things nonchalantly to actually, all right, I'm going hard at this. This is my career. But I'd say before that, I was still like learning. I was still doing things. I was still like on social media trying to get my name out there regardless. So it definitely took a while. And even with TikTok, you know, I had the first song. Technically, it blew up overnight, but then it took my brain that I already knew from things I did before. It took me to think like, okay, I need to drop this as an instrumental, blah blah. I need to drop a whole EP to spread the streams across even more songs because I know a lot of people are going to be listening. And then even at that point, I thought myself like, oh damn, this I better do something well with this because I might be a one hit wonder. Cause I even thought that myself. So I was just kept going. Immediately, like a few days after that, I dropped a whole new remix and that one did well because I was having a lot of buzz. So it's not like you definitely have to do a lot of you have to have a lot of experience and you just got to know what to do when you go viral as well. I've seen so many people on TikTok completely fumble the bag. They'll have a viral song and then they'll probably maybe they'll milk it for like 2 months and then it'll die out, or they'll just have this viral song and they'll just never do one again, or they'll do another one again and they just lost all their buzz. So you really have to like have some experience to really know what to do.
No, I think that would have made you a one hit wonder if you had just stopped or succumbed to the pressure and delayed everything. You're absolutely right. I've seen that a million times, or not a million. I'm being hyperbolic, but you'll see an artist or even a producer get some level of success on like a YouTube beat video, and then they just suddenly take a break or their upload schedule drops because they're just putting pressure on themselves. When it seems like to me you were just like, okay, cool, I'm just going to try this again and again
Mhm.
and again at a regular and reasonable cadence, and that
Mhm.
worked. I don't know what else you could have done, but I feel like that's the right thing to do. It's just so many people don't do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it is a lot of pressure too. Like I said, like I wasn't certain, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a one hit wonder. Like this is it for me. Like the more it grew, I'm like, all right, how am I gonna surpass this? But then I just kept doing more, and then when things started slowing down, I pivoted and I started doing like the theme song, like TV show kind of flips, and those started doing really well. And I have to admit, like now, definitely my TikTok, I've slowed down. Pretty much everything flops, but it's like a mixture of me not doing enough and just the algorithms have changed, everything's changed. I know there's so many people that went crazy, blew up with me in like the same year, like 2019 TikTok music world. So many of them are like in the same boat where like none of their video they have millions of followers and their videos just aren't doing much. But
Yeah,
some of us
YouTube
that did it
too.
right, yeah, a lot of us that did it right, we have careers now. Like we have took our fans and everything and we put them elsewhere.
Oh yeah, that goes back to our earlier conversation about how numbers don't equal fans, because there are people whose video, I mean, there are people who are making good livings and their numbers look pretty trash
Mhm.
from the outside looking in, or maybe they have great numbers on one platform, but the 5 other platforms they're mediocre, and realistically, that's not the defining factor in success. No, that was not a rat in my back. I don't know if I should be offended. Like, do you think I have a pet rat, like a really well taken care of rat? As you can see, this is a cat. Can you?
Rats aren't
She's
orange, bro.
some rats are, well,
Oh.
maybe not orange, but rats aren't so also aren't that big. I had an ex who had rats, and they were
Oh.
relocated in my house when her place was getting painted, and my cat wanted nothing to do with them, so they don't really mix well. I'm learning, but no,
Tom and
that
Jerry.
is not a well. That was a mouse. I think that mouse, she would have eaten the mouse, but rats are bigger, so they don't
Ooh.
fit inside of a cat's mouth, and so she just left them alone. Um, let's see. We have a bunch of questions coming in. What are a few things that producers should have in place in case they do go viral, besides having a PRO?
I guess it really goes back to what we were just talking about. Like, because I was already on Instagram, because I was already on YouTube, like I had like catalog, I had stuff for people to discover, and that's what also led to just people becoming more of a fan of me. So definitely like just keep doing stuff. Make sure you're on every platform. But as far as like, I don't know if you mean like legally or anything like that. But I would just say make sure you have everything that you can set up, a social media, every social media you can. If you have, Spotify, whatever, have some music, like at least like maybe an album or two. But yeah, just have like somewhere to put everybody basically.
This is a good question. I wish I had prepared it. At one point, did you realize that you needed a manager?
I didn't realize I needed a manager until my current manager reached out to me. So I was never in search of one. But when he reached out and we started talking and he started handling some like let's say like YouTube like brand partnerships and stuff like that. And I basically saw like how much these brands are like lowballing everybody because literally before him, if somebody said a certain amount, I'll be like, okay, that sounds fine because I didn't even know my own worth. But then once he came around, like he's turning 200 into 1500 or something, or turning this into that just by having that conversation. So that's when I realized, oh shit, yeah, this guy's a necessity.
Yeah, that's that's definitely true. Um, Everything is pretty much a low ball. Every
Yeah.
first offer, I should say, is pretty much a low ball. So that's definitely a big, and it's funny too because I'm sure your manager's taking anywhere between 15 to 25%, and people really do, artists, I should say, creatives, they get really territorial and really protective of that percentage. They don't want to give
Hmm.
it up. And I'm like, but you're going to keep 200 and you're going to give up 1500 because you have to give up 20% of that 1500 to the person that, you know, quadrupled the value of what you would have gotten yourself. So
Hmm.
it is worth pointing out. That's one of those, the value of a manager is debated so often in the music community, where
Hmm.
you'll see people swear up and down that managers are just there to take your money. They're just there to take your money. Um, A bad manager isn't even going to take your money because they're not going to get you any opportunities. But a good manager will increase your money and then take a very small and reasonable percentage, in my experience.
Yeah, I mean, and even then though, like I can attest to that. I was definitely the same way. Like, oh, I'm doing the work, blah blah blah. Like, why should I even bring somebody in to just like take a percentage if I'm the one, yada yada. But yeah, as we like grew and like more deals came in and things started happening, and I literally seen the number go from such a low amount to just like, nah, we can get you this. Oh, nah, dude, don't even. We can get you this. Like, that's when I was like, all right, yeah, for sure.
Do you remember what your first brand partnership was?
Um, my very first. I don't remember my very first paid. My very first paid one might have been like it was definitely YouTube, and it was probably like $200 for something. I don't remember exactly which one. Maybe like Splice or something. I don't even know. I don't remember. But it was definitely low as hell. It was definitely low as hell.
I'm still getting lowball offers from like companies saying, "Hey, we want to give you a free copy of the VST in exchange
Hmm.
for a video," and it's like, what?
Yeah, but back then I was happy to do that. So I was like, yo, all
Yeah,
right, sure. I get some free stuff. But then I realized, oh, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, they have a marketing budget. Um, anyway, I won't. There's more to that story, but I'm not going to go
yeah.
into it. Cloud9 wants to know when you first started your making your videos. Was it all instinct based? And then there's a follow up question to that.
Oh, you know what? That's actually a great question. I don't think I've ever even talked about this much, but
Mm.
yeah, no, in high school, I had like a digital media class. So before I was into music, like I wanted to be, well, while I was into music, I also was into photography and like videography and stuff. So luckily, yeah, I already kind of knew like how to work a camera and how to edit videos, but I didn't have any courses. But after school, when I needed to do it for myself, YouTube. But I did have a little bit of background in photography, so
The follow up question then is, when you started, were you shooting most of your videos with a phone?
um, for yeah, no. Well, honestly, phones got better, so I started using phones anyway. But I had a camera, like I said, with photography. I was like, I already had a camera, so luckily enough, I was already hip on that, but I would have used a phone because I eventually, as far as social media goes, I started using a phone anyway, even when I got bigger. So,
For your studio videos, you're using a mirrorless camera or something, right?
hmm
Okay.
yeah.
Which
But
one?
I use my phone right now. I'm using the EOS R, the Canon EOS R. But like I use my phone like right now. I have like a top angle with like my iPhone 12 mounted to my thing, so I still use phones for like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. The 13 has the new. Does the 12 have cinematic mode or whatever?
No, the 13 does though.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I feel current now because I switched platforms, so now I'm on iOS. I'm like, damn, this
Let's go.
everything about this annoys me except the cinematic mode.
Yes,
Like
sir.
it was so crazy. I even bought a gimbal for it because I'm like, no, this is too amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
for sure.
it is amazing, and you hear a lot of people complain about having to make content, and like everything you need is in the palm of your hands, literally.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can definitely, especially now, because phones are phenomenal, these cameras nowadays. So, yeah, there's really, just get a phone. T-Mobile, pay, a few bucks a month for it, you know what I'm saying? And just there you go.
Let's talk about YouTube. Do you have a content creation schedule for yourself? Because you're still really consistent with your YouTube videos and the upload.
I'm trying to make a change this year. My whole life I've just been winging it. I'm not gonna lie. I have been, not to say I'm not organized, but yeah, I'm not organized. Like I just tried my best to well, there was a period of time I was just trying my best to get at least 2 videos out a week. Didn't matter what day it was, as long as I got at least two out, I was satisfied. But then sometimes I was like, all right, let's just get at least one. Let's get at least one. But this year I'm gonna try to like, cause I hate editing videos now. So like I have an editor now. So in order to have things run smoothly this year, I'm gonna try my best to have a schedule, try to upload. My goal is one great video a week on YouTube. but 2 videos would be best. So that's the plan. But if I miss out on one, as long as I have one good one, I'll be good.
Do you have a similar schedule for musical output where you feel like, if you don't make 5 beats a week or something like that, or one finished song a week that you don't feel right?
Nah, that's all. That's I'm trying to change all of that this year, but for the most part, like I was just talking to my guy Chris about this, but pretty much all the beats, most of the beats I make, I release them. So I don't even make that many beats. Like I'm not a guy that, if you go to my folders per month of beats, you're not gonna find. You might find 10 on a good month. On a good month, I might make 10 beats. But for the most part, it's like I'm kind of meticulously making beats to be released for certain projects, whether it's for YouTube, whether it's for this or that, whether it's for a brand or whatever it may be. There's usually a purpose behind the beats I make. But again, I'm trying to change that this year.
Yes. So that's interesting for you in the sense that every beat you make does have a home. It's not like, those of us who want placements where we make a bunch of beats and just hope and pray that they go somewhere, and usually they end up just kind of sitting on a hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think that's added pressure for you, but it's also added purpose. And so, the psychological effect of knowing where your beats are going and knowing that they're going to be used, that's an added bonus. Do you feel, because obviously you used to make beats for rappers and stuff. Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel like there's a psychological difference? Does this feel better for you knowing that you're going to release every single track and you have control over every single track?
Well, definitely like the whole control aspect of it, 1,000,000%. But the thing is, though, it's the reason why I want to change that this year is because I want to say like it's kind of made me kind of lazy because I kind of just like perfected how I make a specific style of beats. And also maybe it has kind of taken the fun out of it because, like let's say my manager's like, all right, we need to do this thing for like Kit Kat or something like that. And they want a specific thing. So I'm doing this and I'm hating it because it's like I got to do what they say. And it's like, that goes back to me being my own boss. So yeah, I'm getting paid for this, but it's like, oh, now I gotta figure out and I gotta stay up all night. And the turnaround for these things are usually super quick. So that kind of stuff is like, but now this year my plan is to just kind of shift that a little. Still gonna have a plan for most of the things I make, but like I want to start, exploring and like I make YouTube videos, right? So I'll buy like an MPC Live 2, for instance. I'll buy an MPC Live 2 and I kind of figure it out for a video, and then I use it maybe for a few videos, but I still don't really know how to use it. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I get the gist, but I never taken the time to actually develop the skill with that. So that's one of my plans is to just kind of practice more this year. Even though I'm already like successful, I'm like going back to being a student sort of.
Yeah, I was gonna. I think that was our podcast topic that we had recently. Just how to remain a student, how to always learn. You know, um, indefinitely for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Uh, and that how do you? I know this is like a super personal question. How do you plan on doing that? What's the how are you holding yourself to that?
I mean, I've already structured it out like live on Twitch. So I'm definitely like I'm an open book with this kind of stuff. But for the most part, just like practicing. And one thing I love about Twitch is, I'm always doing like, as like a producer with like my own community, I'm always doing like beat challenges with my community, like, oh, 1 hour sample flip or a 10-minute sample flip, like something crazy. And like I don't do it. Like I'm putting them through this and they're the ones doing it, but sometimes I don't do it. So moving forward, I'm gonna be doing the challenges with everybody or doing things live, having my people on Twitch like challenge me to do this or that. Maybe we want to try a different genre today. So pretty much I'm gonna use like my community as like an accountability buddy sort of thing.
Oh, that's smart. Um, Grantastic wants to know, and I had this question too because, granted, it does feel like playlist pitching is now like the new sending beats to an A&R for
Mm-hmm.
placements. I also wanted to pick up on something you said in your recent video where you were talking about how you got 65 million Spotify streams. You spoke about people's personal playlists. So I would add on the question of how you think an artist can incentivize people adding their track to a playlist.
For me, that's something I've never known. I don't really think of it that way. I kind of just make the music. So, but I know what kind of songs people want to listen to and that they're gonna save to their playlist. Like, I look at the metrics, I look at the analytics, and I'm seeing like what is what. But for the most part, as far as just pitching a playlist, it does seem impossible. And until my song Steven Universe went viral, I was never in an editorial playlist. I got to 1 million monthly listeners without being in any editorial playlist. So it's kind of like it did feel impossible until it started happening. And now I get into them more. So I feel like it's kind of like you got to reach some kind of barrier and then you can start spreading yourself out. And then maybe they know who you are or something, whoever these overlord curators are. But for the most part, it's like you always got to try to have at least 3 weeks in advance when you post. Like that's the minimum. And that's something I've seen like proof of it. So like when I drop a song like a week from now, 100% never gotten into a playlist. But when I like set like at least 3 weeks in advance, I've been getting in playlists a lot more often now. But as far as personal playlists, that just all comes down to the music you make and like building yourself out on other platforms. Because since my certain songs have gone viral on TikTok, people are going to my Spotify and they're following me. So when they follow me, I get in their release radar. So when I do release music, it's already on their radar. They can listen to it and save it because they know who I am, kind of thing.
And I think that's probably key too, where people will look at individual platforms and think in order to grow a following on that individual platform, they have to do a bunch of work on that platform internally.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas your experience teaches you that you need to do work on a separate platform because oftentimes that will convert to another platform's growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all it is really. Because you don't want to be. I mean, no, you might want to be. There's a ton of people, so much success, but you look at their Spotify follower count and it's like below 1,000, but they have like millions of monthly listeners. But that's because they're on playlists. They're on like all types of playlists, and that's their main support are these playlists. But if you want to build like a community, a big fan base, and like I don't know, sell vinyls, like I recently started doing, you need to be up on all the platforms.
So let's end on that because we're running out of time. Hopefully, I can rope you in for a part 2 sometime later this year.
Let's do it.
Okay, verbal confirmation. I love sneaking that in at the end.
Yo.
Because I have way more questions. I like to plan. What are you excited about 2020? You know, like what are you dropping? How can people get the vinyl? How can people support you?
Yeah, I mean, this year, like if anybody's here from my Twitch, like I did a whole like mind mapping goal setting thing live on stream. So I've got like a lot of big plans. But it's mostly just growing every aspect of me as a business, whether it be my sample store, my music. Like you said, like I start selling vinyls now, all these different plethoras of things that I do, including like the NFT crypto space. I'm definitely excited to jump into that space this year. But yeah, I mean, you can find me L.Dre and just I'll be on any platform. That's my main thing. Every single platform there is, you'll see me. So just search up L.Dre and I'll be there.
Well, once again, really appreciate you for taking the time to do this. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I mean everyone, especially the people that are already supporters of your Twitch streams. Appreciate you migrating yourselves over here. And then shout out to all the regulars on the BeatStars stream. This will be available, archived on all of BeatStars social media, and then it will also. What's up, Trevor? And it will also be on my page on my YouTube channel within a couple weeks. So if you join late, don't worry. Just wait for everything to end, and then you can go back and watch it in its entirety from the very beginning. So much continued success to you, L.Dre, and I appreciate you. We'll catch you for part 2. I'll be back same time, same place next week, right here on BeatStars Live. Peace, everyone.
Yes, sir. Peace.